Drilon, Ejercito, Florendo Jr., Gatchalian, Honasan II, Lacson, Legarda, Loyola, Ocampo, Pangilinan, Ramirez Sato, Subiri, Zamora, Albano III, Soto III, Tolentino, Recto, Cortuna, Treñas.
With 21 members present, the Chair declares the existence of a quorum. Secretary Lopez, please take the seat in front. Under consideration of this committee is that interim appointment of Ms. Regina Lopez as Secretary of Department of Environment and Natural Resources. May we hear the Secretary Villacorta report on the status of the jurisdictional requirements and compliance with the rules of the Commission and the rules of the standing committees and other relevant information about the appointee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Your Honors. Secretary Lopez has complied with the submission of the documentary requirements as provided for in Section 24, Chapter 5 of the Rules of the Commission. Her ad interim appointment was referred by the Senate President and CA Chairman, Senator Aquilino Coco Pimentel III, to the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources pursuant to Section 16, Chapter 4 of the Rules of the Commission. Likewise, her ad interim appointment was duly published in 2 newspapers of general circulation pursuant to Section 2, Article 2 of the Rules of the Standing Committees. Your Secretariat has received the following sworn oppositions to the ad interim appointment of Secretary Lopez. Copies of these sworn oppositions were furnished to the committee members and to the appointee. The oppositors were invited and notified of this public hearing. The oppositors concerned or their authorized representative, please stand up as your name is called and be recognized. Joint sworn opposition of Mr. Rodolfo R.J. Javellana Jr. and Mr. Manuel J. Galvez in their capacity as representatives of the United Filipino Consumers and Commuters and Airboard Company, respectively. Please remain standing. Marion Carlo R. Cruz et al. Of Stand Firm. Dr. Carlo A. Arcilla of Asia Oceania Geological Society. Lysander N. Castillo of Philippine Business for Environmental Stewardship. John Michael Mendoza of UP Engineering Student Council. Ralph Lauren Abainsa of UP Geology Majors Society. John Paulo N. Chanco of UP Mining, Metallurgical and Materials Engineering Association. Chris John Nino Jimenez Separa of UP Mining Engineering Society. Johan Joseph Dr. Sahagun of Juvenis Orbia Geological Fraternity. Artemio F. Dicini, Nelia C. Halcon, and Ronald S. Residoro of the Chamber of Mines of the Philippines. Danilo Baisa Kalimlim of Mine Workers League. Bong Folong Dalena Samling et al. Of the Blaan Tribal Communities from Tampakan, South Cotabato. Sangguniang Barangay of Urbistondo, Mr. Carmelito I. Galing et al. Dato Engwan S. Ala et al. Rosalina G. Montanes, Alma T. Bioneda, Clarence J. Pimentel Jr. of the Philippine Nickel Industry Association Incorporated, Sangguniang Panlalawigan of Surigao del Norte, Mr. J. Mark M. Ebangculia, Mr. Dulmar Pira Agas, Mr. Jespol D. Ecleo. We have also received the following manifestations from affected communities on the policy to close the mining operations Copies of the manifestations were also furnished to the members and to the appointee. They were also invited and notified of this public hearing. Andres C. Estella, punong barangay Yamot, Caldelaria, Zambales. Vicente F. Edora, punong barangay Dampay, Calendaria, Zambales. Joseph E. Bautista, punong barangay Binabalian, Caldelaria, Zambales. Nilo M. Angeles, punong barangay Bulitok, Santa Cruz, Zambales. Domingo Macchio, punong barangay Lomboy, Santa Cruz, Zambales. Fe P. Silot, Akopan Elementary School PTA President, Virac, Itogon, Benguet. Andres C. Panayo, punong barangay, Poblacion, Itogon, Benguet. Rolando C. Rimban, School Principal, Virac Elementary School. Ernesto C. Rimando et al., Teacher, Balatok Elementary School. John Michael Madarang, Scholar, Balatok Mines. Mr. Noel D. Bli et al., Mr. Gilbert R. Sibayan et al. Also, Mr. Chairman, we have received endorsements of support for the confirmation of the ad interim appointment of Secretary Lopez from the following: Green Thumb Coalition of various NGOs and people's organization, Manobo Indigenous Cultural Community of Agusan, Incorporated, Earth Day Network Philippines, Incorporated, Green Convergence for Safe Food, Healthy Environment, and Sustainable Economy. List of endorsements to the Commission on Appointments: Indigenous Peoples of Caraga, Sagip Sierra Madre Environmental Society, Transport Sector, FEDUDAP, Pasang Mazda, Altodap, ACTO, and LTOP, Democratic Front for Philippinism, Roman Catholic Bishop of Cubao, Blessed Federation of Farmers and Fishermen, Incorporated, Kapisanang Magsasaka, Mangingisda at Manggagawang Pilipinas, Incorporated, Association of the Unbreakable Assets of the Nation, Samahang Magdaragat sa Lawa ng Laguna, Blessed Federation of Farmers and Fishermen, Incorporated, Resolution of Endorsement of 20 Bishops, Ledesma, Padillo, David, De Leon, Vergara, Ocampo, Cabahar, Galido, Bendico, Alminasa, Bakay, Cortez, Maralit, Tobias, Kahandig, Palma, Utleg, Evangelista, Oliveros, Cortez, Philippine Islamic Council, Philippine Imam Council, Director, Antipolo Social Action. Endorsement by the Provincial Board of Misamis Oriental. Endorsement of the Coalition of Clean Air Buerano, President. Philippine Speleological Society, Cristales, President. Missionaries of the Sacred Heart, Father Leonardo Cabrera.
Secretary Villacorta, please administer the oath to Secretary Lopez.
Kindly stand, Madam Secretary, and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Chair, the appointee is now under oath.
How do I stand?
The oppositors, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings, so help you God? Mr. Chairman, the oppositors are all now under oath. Please take your seats.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Secretary Lopez, you may now proceed with your introductory statements.
To the Honorable Coco Pimentel, is he there? Okay. He's not here. Well, to the Honorable Senator Manny Pacquiao and Honorable Ronnie Zamora, and to the honorable members of the Commission on Appointments, to the members of the press and our friends here, to everyone. It is my honor to be able to sit with you here today, to be able to explore the opportunity of being granted the mandate to serve this country. I would like you I would like to state in no uncertain terms that I am confident that we can get our country out of poverty. I feel that genuine economic growth is genuine only when it brings on social justice. And the stand in DNR to bring on social justice is what I'm going to call area development. It's taking on the area, looking at the potential, the magnificence that's there, and maneuvering it so that those resources benefit the people living there. And it is to this end that I am committing my full commitment to make this a reality. I would also like to take this opportunity to deeply apologize to the members of the Congress because I had originally made a statement of 50 million pesos, and if the impression was that any member of the Congress felt alluded to, it was not my intention at all. I know many members of the Congress personally, and I can fully vouch for their integrity, their sincerity, their love of country, so it was not meant as a allusion at all. It was a remark done without any evidence. So again, if I have hurt anyone's feelings, I want to apologize for that in front of everyone. Lastly, I want to say that I think what I have up my alley, if I can say it that way, is the fact that when I was in ABS-CBN, I have had the experience of building models which work, and that is where I want to go. And these models have resulted in communities and what we call ecological, economic, educational zones. And that is actually also where I want to go in DNR, to build models and to build many models which show that we can do it and we can make it happen. So I humbly submit to this process, and then let's see where this takes us. Thank you very much.
Are you going to present your...
I want to, but the visuals are there. Can I, will the members of the Commission on Appointments will look there. Can you arrange it? I would very much like to give a presentation. Can that be arranged? No, it can't be arranged because nobody can see it. And nobody can see it. You have the clicker? It's not going to work.
One minute recess muna. 1 minute recess.
Oh, do you want to, sir, if you don't mind, since while we're waiting for the screen, if they get the screen, you can decide how you want to process. The reason why I wanted to show the visuals is nothing argues better than reality. And I wanted to give the members of the Congress and the Senate an idea of what I have been able to do and what can happen should I be given the chance. But we need a screen.
The appointee may proceed the visual presentation.
Can I go there? Or? But can I have a mic? But the people here will have neck trouble. How will you? Hindi kayo mahirapan? Okay, I shouldn't talk like that. It's hard, no? Sylvia, can you try to organize a screen? Yeah. Okay. Are you sure you can all see? Yes. I'll stand. So, is that okay? Can I stand? You're so nice naman, no? I was thinking I would be in the firing line here, no? Not yet. All right. I just want to share with you my passion, no? I'll go very quickly so you don't get bored. Okay. So I feel that the stock market or the GDP are not indications of genuine economic growth. I think genuine economic growth must necessarily result in social justice. And like I said in my opening, we would like to bring that on through area development. I'll go quickly now. In area development, what DNR wants to do is create ecological, economic, and educational zones. What does this mean? This means that when we take on an area, we have the strongest commitment to ecological integrity. And my stand is that by taking care of the environment there, we will in fact bring on economic growth in the shortest possible amount of time. The performance indicators are happiness, health, peace and order, and I feel that we can even address the drug problem like that. Environment and the economy. I'll just go really quickly. Now, the reason why I'm so confident this can happen is because of my experience in the past 20 years. In fact, this first site, which I want to show, is because when I worked with Senator Ping Lacson, where is he? There, okay. So with the Typhoon Yolanda, we had donations of 1 billion pesos, and 600 million of that was used in area development. Like here, I put in 3.9 in the surf area, and the next year, we hit 4 million. The salaries are 758,000, and because of that, the people of the area are now taking care of the river. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I esteem Commission on Appointments is the key here. People must benefit, because if people benefit, then they will take care of the environment. So since the people here have benefited, now they're the ones taking care of the Daguitan River. And that's where I want to go with DNR. We maneuver economic zones where the people benefit, then they will take care of the environment. The government can only do so much. Here we put in 1.7. This is a skimboarding camp. And we put in 1.7, and then on the next year, we hit 2.7 in less than a year. The salaries are 1.5 million. And so what's happening now? These people are now taking care of the Liberada River. Here, this is in Samar. This is this beautiful, beautiful place, the Sohoton River, the caves. We put in 4.2. On the second year, they hit 2.9. Their salaries are 1.5. And now they are taking care of the Sohoton River and the caves. Here, this is the spectacular one. We put in 291,000, and the people there were out of school youth. The kids were out of school youth. In 10 months, they hit 1.8 million. Guess what? They're back in school. And now they are taking care of the river there. And my sister went last week. She said, Gina, you should see the place. They're so happy. Okay, here, again, Sorsogon, I went to these places because the mayors there were really honest and good. Yes, so I put in 770,000, and then on the next year, they hit 970, and now they're taking care of the Sorsogon River. It's important to note that this amount of money that they're making does not include the money that goes to the farmers, the money that goes to the fishermen, the money that goes for transportation, the money that's given for handicrafts. It's many, many, many times over. So that's what you call an economic zone. We didn't put Ugong Rock, and what do you call this? Where did you put Ugong Rock? One second. Yeah. Okay, this is my favorite. This is in Puerto Princesa. How long would it take? Sorry. Okay, we'll just go on. Okay, sorry. Christian, how long are you going to take? Come on, because they can't be kept waiting, sweetheart. Let's go. Okay, so this is Ugong Rock. This is one of my favorites because the people here were really poor, but they were living beside this spectacular 18 million year rock formation. 98% of the community were women. Only 2 graduated from college. Okay, we put in 250,000, and then we put in an additional 800,000. Of course, the important thing here was the media was free. No? ABS didn't charge, and I want to let you know that 3 weeks ago, the chairman of GMA went to my office, and he said, Gina, I'll help you. So can you imagine if GMA and ABS helps beautiful places in the country, how can we not get out of poverty? So here, 60% goes to salaries, 40% goes to forced savings. With their forced savings, they put up their own clinic, their own sari-sari store, their own visitor center, their own photography shop, restaurant, conference site. You know, the barangay captain there said, Ma'am, lahat ng tao dito may trabaho dahil sa Ugong Rock. Okay, they went into chicken and ducks and agriculture. 100 regular members get more than 10,000. All members get benefits. On Christmas, they get bonuses. In 2008, they hit 7,000. Next year, 133,000. Next year, 611. Next year, 7 million. Next year, 12 million, 22 million, 29 million. These uneducated women hit 29 million. They're hitting 30 billion every year. Why can't we do this throughout the country? We have the resources to do it. Okay, look at this. You might think that's a fluke. And here, there's this place, Iwahig. Can you get me water? We put in 250,000 pesos. The people there were really poor. And what happened here is they win gold, the best ecotourism site in Asia. The boatmen there are now earning 10,000 pesos every week. They're earning 10,000 pesos every week, and they only work 3 hours at night. They have 1 million pesos in the bank. Okay, so then I went here. There's 3 other areas here. The floating restaurants, snorkeling, dolphin watching. I put in 1.5 million pesos. On the first year, they hit 1,000, you can't see there, 1,284 visitors. If you look at the slides, well, in 7 years, they hit 155,000. We started with 142,000 pesos. It goes up all the way to 40 million pesos every year. I really, really feel we can get our country out of poverty if we nurture and protect the environment that exists. Of course, this is ecotourism, because at that time I was in ABS. But let me tell you about the La Mesa watershed, because the bulk of DNR money is in the NGP program. 8 billion pesos is in the NGP program. So the La Mesa watershed, which I had done before I came into DNR, the United Nations has declared it the gold standard for reforestation. Let me show you what it is. Because, you know, we've spent like 30 billion pesos on the NGP program, and when I went around the country, I don't see it. Where did the money go? You know, what's happening? And here in the La Mesa watershed, we put in 300 million pesos, and it's earning 43 million pesos every year. Why can't we do this with the NGP money, create ecological, economic zones to get our people out of poverty? I'll just, yeah, anyway, maybe this we can go there. You can't see it well. But we earn here 40 million through the Eco Park, and then another 3 million pesos through the watershed. The other ways to do the NGP program are what you call this agroforestry. And then I want to work with Jimmy Galveston, who was the former DOH secretary, to put up trees of wellness. And then we want to put up endemic species of trees. So we will create each area for the NGP program to invest, to create ecological, economic, educational zones. We can get our country out of poverty. Okay, I think let's go to what has been done.
Mr. Chairman, We,
Yes.
it's a little difficult to
Yeah, it's
appreciate
hard.
what's being shown.
I
Can we just
understand.
go ahead with some of the questions from the members and ask the secretary to set up the better system that they have?
Yeah. Can you set up a better... No, I
So-
mean not
But
that.
let's go ahead with the questioning, so
Okay.
we're not
So we will allow the
referring to the
secretary.
wall that I
Yes.
can't appreciate.
I know, I'm so sorry.
So the secretary will please take your seat for the senators and the congressmen to ask questions.
Any members want to ask a question to the appointee?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman, can we listen to the oppositors first before members should propound
Okay,
questions to Secretary Jin?
Let's call the oppositors. To the oppositors, we have copies of your sworn oppositions. Bawat isa sa mga membro ninyo, membro ng Committee on Environment ay nabasa at napag-aralan ng ang inyong mga oppositions. Please take briefly the grounds of your opposition to the confirmation of Secretary Lopez. Secretary Villacorta, please.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Senator.
why
Drilon.
can we not allow the nominee to complete her presentation or even around this, just to present to us her programs, why she should be confirmed before we listen to the oppositors?
Okay, I'll be withdrawing my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, just a...
Okay, just.
Mr.
All right.
Chairman,
I won't take
I
time.
thought
I'm so sorry.
I thought it's already finished. You're not yet finished. Okay, we call back the appointee to
Okay.
to finish your visual
Yes.
presentation.
I have, I can ask for some advice? Okay, I also, I wanna...
No, when you can do that when the chair allowed you to. But anyway, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Senator Pacquiao. Okay. Kasi I wanna give you a sense of what can happen in the country if we can take care of the environment. That's one thing I wanna do. The other thing I wanna do is I wanna also give you a report of what we have done so far in the 8 months that I have been in charge. Because I'm not just about mining, no? We've stopped illegal logging, we've reviewed all the ECCs. And then, sir, I also want to be able to share with you the plan for should the mines which I have asked to close be closed. I would like to show it. I don't know if
How long will it take that?
Okay, 15 minutes. Tony Boy, no? Sige, 15. Yeah. Okay, maximum 15. I'll go really fast.
Okay, I think 10 minutes is enough. That's
Mr. Chairman, with due respect, we should allow the nominee to make a presentation. You say, you know.
Okay.
What's the problem ba?
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
yes. Salimbangon, Congressman Salimbangon is recognized.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I just want to explain the miss. Actually, it was upon the request of the member of the House, Congresswoman Sandy Campo, to just proceed with the question and answer in view of the fact that the presentation was not really very clear. But now that it's clear, I think there is no reason to
Okay, just resume your visual presentation.
Thank you very, very much. I'll drink water, wait.
Before that, acknowledge the presence of Senator Ricto.
Okay, so I'm not just about mining. I want to build development models in this country which show that we can get our country out of poverty, and I want to do it in record time. I mean, I've told people, if I don't make a difference in 2 years, I can go. No? But let me try. So in the last 8 months, we have formed a task force made by the AFP, the DILG, the DOTR, the PNP, PCG, DOJ, and DNR. And is Art Valdez here? Where's Art? Art, can you stand up? Okay, Art Valdez is my USEC for the environment, and he's done a splendid, splendid job. He's my action man. And okay, so in the span of the 8 months, we have been able to close 50 quarries in Mount Banahaw, apprehending 14 people, 10 trucks, and 2 backhoes. And as a result of that, the DNR MGB director was immediately terminated. I want to say that I have adopted the Duterte policy of one strike out. I have zero tolerance for corruption and zero tolerance for corruption. And if there's anyone there that's, you know, who's corrupt, you just let me know, no? Because DNR has so much money. I mean, I'm shocked at how much money we have, no? 26 billion pesos. And the way I see it, if my people are not honest, I won't be able to use this money well. It will just be misused. So my number one determination, like I promised President Duterte, give me the first half of the year, first quarter. I'll clean up DNR, one strike out. We're already doing an NGP audit to find out where all the money has gone. And then when we see it there, they're out. I want fresh blood in DNR. Okay, on September, we intercepted 12 10-wheeler trucks, and the MGB director is now under investigation. We issued a closure order because the hydro generating plant was diverting water which should have been used for irrigation, so the Negros Penro was immediately sacked. We had a strike force apprehending 2,000 illegally cut wood, and the Senro and Penro are now under investigation. We have 10,000 board feet of illegally cut trees were found in a warehouse. The Senro was recommended for dismissal for meddling with evidence. I want to say very clearly that I know why there's war in Mindanao. It's because Mindanao is so beautiful, not a little beautiful. It's so rich in natural resources. And the people of Mindanao are not benefiting from the resources of Mindanao. And the fault is DNR. No? Because we've given permits and clearances and things like that not to benefit the people of Mindanao, but to benefit business interests, and this cannot be allowed to continue. So in that line, we canceled DMCI DACON of 38,000 hectares and canceled another DMCI IFMA covering 35,000 hectares for violations encroaching on our natural forces. In Sultan Kudarat, we apprehended 25,000 board feet of lumber. DNR employees are under investigation. Again, in Calamansag, there were 2,223 illegal logs were apprehended, and 6 DNR employees are instantly relieved. We issued a cease and desist order because this Chinese vessel was dredging illegally, causing 40 houses to collapse. And then even in Boracay, we have been able to give show cause order to 4 top-star hotels in Boracay because of effluent discharges. We issued a closure ultimatum to the dump sites in Negros Occidental for violation of the Solid Waste Act. I will have to add here that we have a very good relationship with the Environmental Ombudsman. He's also very, packed. He's like out. No? All right, we are doing what we can do in Laguna because of the President's directives, and there are some fish pen owners there that own 50 hectares of fish pens, 40 hectares of fish pens. You don't need all these hectares, but the commitment is to the poor fishermen. Okay, we've issued cease and desist orders to dump sites in Taytay, in Angono, and in Cavite. Okay, we have arrested this guy who was almost untouchable for 5 years because of the collusion with the PNP. He was building a subdivision in the mangroves. But the mangroves, what we have realized because of Typhoon Yolanda is the reason why, like the islands with mangroves, when Typhoon Yolanda hit, suffered 80% less damage, as in 80. And so we want to plant mangroves everywhere. In fact, our commitment is 300,000 hectares of mangroves throughout the country to save us, because climate change is a reality that exists. But we want to, okay, let me go into this. And then we served notice to SMC, Consolidated Power Corporation. This is the one of Ramon Ang, because of an ash spill incident, and he's gotten his act together. So we have opened up a hotline, and our success rate of addressing the hotline is 92.6%. In good governance, we have filed a total of 146 cases, and it's still going on. Okay. Now, for land, what we're doing is, the problem here with ancestral domains is that even if you give it, they won't benefit if they don't have the money to invest. You have to help them and guide them and help them all the way to the end. So DNR has signed a memorandum with the NCIP so that we get our indigenous people out of poverty. And I have made a policy in DNR that if we have land, the first people who should benefit from this land are the communities that are living there. Not people who are living overseas, and not military cooperatives, and not real estate brokers, but the people living there. And I've also made a policy that there's no need of taxes anymore in the beginning to get your titles, because they're poor. Because they don't have the money to pay for taxes, so they'll never get their titles. And then what happens, they sell their rights, and somebody that lives, and I know of instances where people live in the States or Europe, and the land which is supposed to be used is just, people there are paying the taxes, and it's not being used for our people. So that stops now. Okay, the National Greening Program, 8 billion pesos of the money that DNR has is a National Greening Program. And again, I want to convert the National Greening Program to create economic zones throughout the country in record time. Okay, we're also going to rehabilitate 143 critical watersheds, because water is life. And the scientists will tell you, but by 2030, we're going to have a severe water shortage. And it's already happening now. So what we're doing is we're going to massively rehabilitate it by planting bamboo. Oh, here, the bamboo is here. Okay. Anyway, we're planting bamboo because bamboo will protect the water resources. We're also, in the first year, what we want to do is do 300,000 hectares of mangroves and beach forests on the first year. And we have where's Sylvia? I'd like to call, Sylvia, can you stand up? Sylvia Ordonez. Is Sylvia here? Okay, so Sylvia, can you stand up? All right, anyway, she's in charge of the mangrove and bamboo program, and we have already access the money to do this. Because the thing about DNR is we're not limited to the budget that the government gives us. Like for example, 2 days ago, I signed a contract with USAID to give us 1.2 billion pesos. There's so much money, and we're investing this in Palawan, in Tawi-Tawi, and in Zamboanga. It's a wildlife conservation, but we're going to do it such that it benefits the communities. On July of this year, I'm going to travel to try and access $100 million every year to help us with the bamboo and mangrove program. And that's why I'm saying this with courage. Okay. This, by the way, esteemed committee, is the largest mangrove forest in the country. And guess what? It's man-made. It's man-made. And it was the reason why Bohol suffered very few deaths and very little destruction. Because it had mangroves. So if we do this now, what I want to do is protect the country in the coming 6 years. And the thing with mangroves, it doesn't only protect, it also gives rise to business, because you have seaweed, fish, crabs, so many things. And then I'm going to work, they have already agreed, DOST, to develop technology to do vacuum packing, to process the fishes that are there. And then we package it. And the thing with the poor, the problem with the poor is you have to help them all the way up to marketing. You can't just give them land. You have to help them develop the products. You have to help them all the way up to marketing. And DNR is going to do that through NRDC. NRDC, headed by Sylvia, is a Natural Resource Development Corporation. It's the GOCC under DNR, which is mandated to do business. I come from a business family, and I know that you just can't give money like that. What you want to do is invest and then help the communities make money and then help them all the way up to marketing. And then I also want to say that in the span of doing this, my experience in doing development work is the absolute necessity for commitment to values. Because if you give them money and they're just going to drink and smoke and womanize, walang mangyayari sa buhay, no? So one of the things I ask for is a commitment that the family must go to the child and the family. 2, they have to pay it forward. Kailangan tulungan yung iba. 3, it has to be very transparent. They have to put down all the money that they earn and they cannot spend everything. And we will help them do business. Okay, this our goal in 3 years is you want to print 1 million hectares of bamboo in 143 critical watersheds. Why 3 years? Because it takes 3 years for the bamboo to grow. But after it grows, you can make bamboo houses, which is 50,000 pesos, whereas the low-cost housing now is 200,000. We can jack up the economy with bamboo. It's good for medical, for medical purposes. Okay. In essence, what DNR wants to do is, the word that's coming to my brain is kick ass, but I don't know if that's the right word to use in this committee, but kick ass, can I say that? Okay. Sorry, but that's the word that came to my brain, no? But that's really what we want to kick ass the green economy. So we're not going to change, I have no intention to put down, what I feel is that if you have a green economy, you will just have more jobs, you'll just have different kinds of jobs. Okay, and what we do is an integrated area development approach. We have targeted 29 areas where we will work with the LGU, with some of the congressmen here, to work together to build models which show that we can get our country out of poverty. Okay, in addition, we have audited 50 ECCs. We also gave show cause, as you know, to 75 MPSAs because they were in watershed areas. Okay, I'm just going to go quickly here. Okay, can I show you now what we want to do in the mine sites? Is that okay? Is that okay? Okay.
May recognize the presence of the Senate President Coco Pimentel. Senator Coco Pimentel.
Which one? Yeah. I'm so sorry. Oh, you put it here. Okay, I know that one of the more controversial things I have done is the mining thing. Christian, can you show the watershed? You show the watershed first. And oh, you have to go quickly. All right. Can you see this?
Mr. Chairman, I think we're doing well already. So huwag na nilang palitan. Tuloy na lang. We're gonna waste time. Tuloy mo na. It's
okay na daw.
Yes.
Okay na.
Don't touch anything anymore.
Okay,
Go
thank
ahead.
you very much.
Continue.
Christian, can you go to the watersheds? Go to the watersheds, Christian. All right. Let me, ladies and gentlemen, show you why I am not in favor of having any kind of mining in watersheds. Okay, this is a watershed. Okay, this is a watershed. And in a watershed, there are aquifers and streams that go into the body of water. And this river, which is called surface water, flows down and benefits agriculture, benefits agroforestry, benefits the people that are living here. Now, what happens, for example, if you do open pit mining in a watershed? You will use explosives. Open pit mining invariably necessitates the use of explosives. And what you want to do is you want to get the ground mineral resources, which are here, under. What happens if you use explosives? In this country, 100 million% you'll hit a water table. That doesn't happen if you do the mining in Canada and if you do the mining in Australia, but that's what happens in this country. You will invariably hit a water table. That water table should have gone down and fed agriculture and fed the people living there and been used as a backup measure. So what happens when you hit the water table? That water table goes into the open pit, as it has, and then the mining company has to get out the water, throw it into the river because you need the minerals there. But that water, they use some of the water, but at the end of the day, that water goes to waste. One, they don't pay for the water, and I think that's a problem with the policy. And then two, you're throwing it away. All right, so this is open pit mining for the senators, and I mean, that's what happens. This is not the Philippines, but open pit mining, that's open pit mining. All right. So this, esteemed senators, is the Berkeley pit. This is an open pit mine that was left abandoned in Montana. And it's so acidic. This is from a book written by, we just came across the book. And I ended up talking to the author. That open pit is so acidic, it can burn the propeller of a boat there. And the American government has spent $100 million already in that open pit. And it's so acidic that it's going down already into the soil. And the community that's living there has migrated out. But this is the reality that exists. It's a financial liability to the American government for eternity. Now, I want to show you what a slide I took just last week. Okay, look at the color of that. And look at the color of that. It looks really similar. That's Manila mining in Surigao. The price of gold went down, so they suspended it. But they haven't been taking care of it, and they don't even have the funds there to rehab it. And my staff tells me that it's not acidic, but it's full of copper. Nevertheless, it's a danger to the area. Okay, so this is from my iPhone, so you please excuse me. I don't think, Christian, are we able to fix it? Okay, so look at that. That's a community living there. That's Claver. And then that's the open pit. I'm sorry, I'm the one who took this picture. That's why it's like that. But, no, go ahead, sweetheart. Okay, so look at that. Yeah? And then in Surigao, it rains every year. And when that overflows, what's going to happen to the people living there? No amount of taxes or royalties can be enough to cover that risk. Because that's going to be there for eternity, forever and a day. Okay, look at this. This is Congressman Vijay. Okay. And yeah, and that's because he's always saying ganyan talaga at ganyan talaga, and I said, okay, kung ganyan talaga, bakit yan blue at yan kung saan ka red yan? It's illegal. Okay, I just want to show you this, and I'll go very quickly because, okay, so remember I issued closure orders to 75 MPSAs because they're in watersheds. Well, let me show you what these watersheds look like. Oh, I also want to say that the Philippine Mining Act, actually, I'm just following the law. In the Philippine Mining Act, it says that DNR is to enhance national growth in a way that effectively safeguards the environment and protects the rights of the affected communities. That's what I'm doing. Okay, the authority of the department in Section 8 states that we will do the proper use of the state's mineral resources, including those in reservations, watershed areas, and lands of the public domain. Then DNR shall adhere to the principle of sustainable development, which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. I'm just following the law. Okay. So this is, sorry, I don't know if Congressman Pichay here, but that's the picture that was here, no? Like here, no? Because when you take away the trees, when it rains, that silt will be carried by the rain, and it will go down the river, and that's a siltation pond. So that's supposed to stay there for 5 days, but so that the silt settles before it goes to the sea. But what if it rains, and it's always raining in the Philippines? Then it's going to overflow, and that's what happens. I took these pictures myself. Well, I was in the chopper when they took it. That's a siltation pond that overflowed, and that siltation pond should actually not be there. Okay, sorry, Mr. Chairman, but that's your mine. This is the Hinatuan Mining Corporation. You know, I mean, your three of your mines are really, really good. Taganito, Rio Tuba, and ano ba? Or your brother's mine, sir. You better tell him to behave. Because, sir, you know, they've been mining this for 20 years, and the mountain was really big, and the mountain got small, and that's not legal at all. You've totally killed the mountain. I mean, I could tell your brother, he totally killed the mountain. Okay, and then here, this is in Samar, look at that. There's mining in a watershed, look what happened. My staff went there, look at the sea. And when that happens, who suffers? The fishermen. Okay, and then this is naman Zambales. There's 4 mine sites in a watershed. Because for however, you know, I know that there are many oppositors here, but the reality is there are few people that benefit, but how many people suffer? Like here, in Zambales, there are 4 mining operations here just beside each other in Zambales, and this is a river. It's affected 2,500 households. When I suspended the mine site, the cathedral was full of people. Oh, and this is one of the mines in Zambales, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that. It's not good at all. And that's why when I saw that in the mining review, what they said, oh, you just fine. Anong fine, no? That means, I said, just close it, you know, because the very fact of mining there is putting people's lives at risk. Okay, and look at this. Like, for example, in Dinagat, this mining corporation has adversely affected 6,800 households. Cromico, 1,500. Oriental, 1,200. The list goes on. Okay? Yeah. So, I want to show you, like, look how, you know, look at this. I mean, it's so beautiful, you know. Look at this river basin here, the Magdugdug watershed, the Agusan River Basin, the Iliwagwag Falls, the Mainit Hot Springs, and you want to mine that? My God, no? And then the people are fighting me pa because I don't want mining there, especially Inquirer, no? And sorry, I'm just joking, no? Okay, but I'm not joking, no? I'm because I'm not meant to be in politics, right? Okay, so look here that this is, but look at that. Why are they, I mean, I just want to stop the mining in watersheds. It is an MPSA. It's not even functional yet, no? Okay, so look at this. This is Surigao. Surigao, this is the Enchanted River. And there are blue fish that come up every 12 hours. They don't even know where this fish comes up. It's an Enchanted River. Okay, this is not connected to the watersheds, but I just wanted to show you this. Okay, this is the mining that was going to happen more in Dunagat and Surigao. This is in the watershed, and that's in Zamboanga. Okay, that's the catch basin of Mindanao, the Matutum watershed, Lake Cebu watershed, Ala Valley watershed, and they wanted to mine that. Okay, that's the forest reserve there in Agusan del Sur. I mean, grabe talaga what they're doing in Mindanao, no? Okay, and then this is the Visayas. That's the Bago River watershed. They wanted to mine that. And then that's in Samar, and then they want to mine that. And then the Gitan River watershed, they want to mine that. The Mananga River watershed, they want to mine that. The Mambusao River watershed, you want to mine that. The Luzon, look how beautiful it is. I'll just go quickly, you want to mine that. The Palawan watershed forest reserves, Mount Matalingahan, you want to mine that. The Chico River watershed, the Super Agno River watershed, you want to mine that. the Lower Agno, I just want to give you an idea what they were going to mine. And so I said, stop it already, don't even begin. I want to talk about Lobo because Lobo is the center of marine biodiversity of the entire planet. I mean, the California Academy of Arts and Sciences comes here every year. And every year they find more than 100 marine species there. Why can't we use these marine species to benefit life? Esteemed Commission on Appointments, I don't know if you're aware that we have shells and sponges that can cure cancer, that we have a venom that's emitted by our snails that is even better than morphine, and that was decided by this Nobel laureate. I mean, in terms of biodiversity, the biodiversity which can be found only here, and only here, it's what you call endemic. It can be found only here. Now, did you know that in the entire planet, the greatest endemicity per unit area is, you know where? It's the Philippines. I mean, that's a business deal if I ever saw one. I mean, who said exports will go down? Why don't we export like for example, the other day, like 2 weeks ago, Dado Banata, who's a multi-billionaire, we want to set up an Institute for Translational Medicine in DNR. And he has agreed. And he's coming back on March, and he's bringing the top-of-the-line scientists in UCLA to find out how we can process our medicinal plants so that we can export it and use it. It's our gift to the world. And it is his intention that we use it so that it helps our communities. We have so much in this country. Okay, like look at this. Madagascar is 3 times bigger than the Philippines. But look, we have Madagascar has 105 species and 80 endemic. The Philippines has 180 species. And Madagascar is 3 times bigger. You look at this. Spain and Brazil is bigger than the Philippines. But their endemicity is 6% and 25%. Look at the Philippines. We have 993 species. 61% is endemic. That's a really good business deal. If you look at a survey that, I won't show it now, but I'll just tell it to you. The price of gold and nickel goes up, down, up, down, up, down. But the price of, the rates of health and wellness is on a steady incline, 20% every year, up and up and up. That's something we can ride on because the country which has the most resources to curb on this, on health and wellness is the Philippines. And in fact, Dado was saying, Gina, you just give me 3 months, I just have to post my scientists there. And he's not going to ask money at all. Well, these are the shells that can cure cancer. That's me with Dado. Okay, now I'm going to go into the mining thing, since that's a big thing. Can you go to the mining? I'll just show what I want to do in the mining area. Okay, I want to acknowledge the services of, Philip, can you stand up, please? Philip Camara. Okay, Philip Camara is the son-in-law of Sixto Rojas, who was a chairman of Bancom. He's he used to be a Wall Street banker, but he's also a farmer, and he's also an area development expert. And through the team of the Sixto K. Rojas Foundation, which is economists, entrepreneurs, scientists, they went around to the mine sites and they made 2 to 3 weeks babad in Dinagat and Surigao. So I want to let you know what we will do there. Okay, so we met also with the different the different cabinets here, like DOLE, TESDA, DA, DOST, BFAR, DILG, DTI, Philippine Coconut Authority, DPWH, and DSWD. And DOT is not here, but she's clearly in the pie. Okay, and so this amount of money is there, which means it's not a dream. They have that money there, and they can put this money in Dinagat and Surigao. I need 4 billion pesos, and this is the amount of money which all the cabinets are putting out to help 35,000 people. Okay, I'm going to show you what we want to do in Dinagat and Surigao, because this is the reality of Caraga. There are 26 mining operations in Caraga, and it's the poorest region in the country. So there was something wrong here. So I was shocked, amazed when I saw how beautiful it is. Look at this. In Dinagat and Surigao, we can do a green economy because it's so beautiful. We can go ecotourism. We can do agriculture and then do value added on this. We can do timber. We can do marine sanctuaries. And this is what we want to do to the mine site. For some reason, Pichai's mine keeps coming here. All right, so this is a mine site, and this is what we want to make it look like. Okay, now the effort to make it look like this, on day one, I'm going to hire them. Why? Because the moment the mine is closed, I can use the rehab funds. And that rehab funds will hire the people to make that a reality. And when that is a reality, they can go ecotourism, viewing deck, camping, circling, and many others. But this is the most exciting thing I want to share with you. You know how we're going to rehab the mines? We're going to use biochar. Biochar is the use of agricultural waste. Waste! It's the use of ipa, dayami, corn tubs, mango, pili nut, cacao. We have experience, and I'm taking this opportunity to invite you all to Philip's farm in Zambales. He lives on mineral land, but he's making a lot of money every week in agriculture. Triple the agricultural production of normal farmers. And, okay, the thing here is this. We will convert it to biochar by doing this. You burn it without giving oxygen, and 1 teaspoon of biochar will come up to 1 football field of area like this. And then you put microbes there. But the exciting thing here is this. When we rehab the mine site using biochar, you know how much, when the team went out to investigate, you know how much agri-waste there is in each municipality where there's a mine? You know how much? 100,000 tons. Every month. They have 100,000 tons every month, which they're just burning. Now, we're going to convert that to biochar so that the farmers there will make money. So which means when we rehab the mine site, those people who are in the mine site will have jobs. They will just have different kinds of jobs. And to heal and to detox the mine site, we're going to help the farmers. Okay, so let me show you this. Okay, over and above that, biochar can be used, like I was telling Congressman Treñas, it can be used for sewage treatment, it can be used for septage. Okay, and this is our commitment. Commitment that on the second year, if the mines are closed, we will be able to generate 200 million net every month, covering 25 to 35,000 households. And all I need is an investment of 875 million, which we already have. That's an investment of 35,000 per household, and NEDA only wants to do 200,000. Let me show you how we're going to do it. On the first 2 months, okay, we'll do a biochar potting mix. You hire, this is for each mine site, you hire 20. Biochar activated planting mix, you hire 150, so on and so forth. At the end of the, for the first 2 months, in each mine site, for every 50 hectares, you will hire 320. If the mine site has 1,000 hectares, then we'll hire more. What will happen when you do this? Because they have to rehab. There's a fund there for rehabbing the mine. We will come up with 20 million net. Net every month for 320 people. And where does that money go? It goes to them. Because what happens when you mine? You take out the minerals, and then 95% goes out of the local economy. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend it, and the money circulates there. On the 3rd to the 6th month, we will include seedlings, nursery establishment, revegetation, all of that. And who is this helping? The farmers. We will employ another 500, and that will give us another 12 million net, which will go to them. On the 6th to the 18th month, we will hire another 500 doing all of this, and they will get 12 million net. Okay, and then on the 18th month, we do charcoals, livelihood, infrastructure, all these other things, having a total, an additional 2,000 people and 40 million net. That's what area development is, you invest there, then let them keep the money. You circulate it there, and then we'll help them with business, we'll help them with marketing, we'll do ecotourism. I already found a place where we can do an airstrip in Dinagat, in the area where there's a lot of mining. Okay, I just want to show you how detailed it was. In Surigao del Norte, that's today, and that's what we want it to look like. Just to show you, 45% of Surigao del Norte is developed to agriculture. And what else? It has all this fauna. It has 11 species of amphibians, 20 species of mammals, 43 species of birds. And then here, this is the flora of Surigao. They have 83 species of trees, so on and so forth. These are medicinal plants in Surigao. All right, here, again, this is Surigao. Yeah, that's how beautiful it is. I'm just breathtakingly beautiful. That's why I'm confident kasi alam ko ang ganda-ganda, oh. And imagine if GMA and ABS both work to help to get this, to push this place. Why won't they get out of poverty? Look how beautiful. Okay, in Dinagat naman, what we found is that 32% of the land is agricultural. And it has clay loam, which is good for agriculture. So you can have all of that. Okay, that's the fauna, the flora of Dinagat, which we can use for medicinal. I'm going to bring Dado Banataw there. And then this is the fauna. This is ecotourism. And this is what we can do, which is high market. Agriculture, livestock, crab and prawn farming, handicrafts, eco-lodge, forest park. Yeah. Anyway, all right, I think basically that's it. I love this country dearly, and I love the people dearly. And I have no doubt in my mind that we can get our country out of poverty. It just needs the right attitude. And what I would like to do as DNR Secretary, if you will let me, is work with everyone, including the oppositors, of coming up with models, which, I'm sure even the oppositors want a better country, coming up with models which show that there is a way out of poverty. And I want to thank you for your patience in listening to me, and I love you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Appointee. Mr. Secretary, can you call the oppositors to explain their opposition?
Thank you.
Maybe we can call one by one?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will just await the sitting of the Secretary. May we alert the first four oppositors?
Before we ask question, may we hear first the first oppositors, and then after that, the members can ask question, and we will continue.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
before things get settled down, I may receive of some endorsement letter endorsing the nomination of Secretary Regina Lopez from Bishop Ramon Arguelles, together with members of Alianza Tigil Mina and Global Catholic Movement Philippines, brought to my office last week. So it's just proper that I turn this over to the Commission, to the Secretary.
Okay, thank you. And we'll take note of that. And I also received recommendation for Gina Lopez from different sectors. I will not mention each of them, but I received that. But I also received many oppositions letters from maybe from the mining companies. So, okay, let's have Mr. Secretary proceed to call the oppositors.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For lack of space, we would like to invite the spokesman of the United Filipino Consumers and Commuters and Airboard Company. Any of these, Havillana, Galvez, may we just have one spokesman for the United Filipino Consumers. Please identify yourself.
Okay, state briefly your opposition. Yung kasama mo, paupuin na lang sa likod para kung may visual presentation ka, pwede mong para makita ng iba. Go ahead.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat po ng miyembro ng CA, Madam Secretary. Ako po si Manny Galvez. Ako po ang managing partner po ng Air Board at miyembro po ng Coalition for Clean Air Advocates na kung saan po ang UFCC o United Filipino Consumers and Commuters is a member of. Okay, I'd like to be very brief for our presentation. When we actually made a presentation to the Secretary in August 2 of 2017. It's just unfortunate that while we were watching the nice presentation of the Secretary about mining, environment was never mentioned in the program. We are concerned with the environment. When the environment, we talk about the environmental management. Okay, there is the EMB, there is the FMB, there is also the water. Unfortunately, none of the programs that were presented before the CA was ever mentioned. Particularly, we're very concerned about air quality monitoring in this country. If I may say so, since 2003, when the first set of air quality monitoring stations were bought, okay, to the tune of about ₱500 million, and until now, it's almost ₱1 billion that had been spent for air quality monitoring. None of these monitoring stations actually worked. None of them. But EMB, Air Quality Management Section, had been producing, we allege, that they're actually manufacturing data about air quality. Marami pong namamatay po sa upper respiratory problem sa bansa po natin. Hindi po natin alam kung ano tumatama sa atin, kung ano tumatama sa baga natin. And it's incumbent upon the DENR, primarily the Environmental Management Bureau, para sabihin sa publiko, ano po ba ang tunay na datos para po sa air quality? Hindi lang po about mining. Ang dami po namamatay. Ang dami po naghihirap dahil po sa air quality monitoring na hindi gumagana. I understand from the Secretary, he gave instructions to so many of our people to actually conduct investigations. But since August 2 of 2016, none of these investigations had provided any result. Not one. Wala hong bumalik. Ilang beses na po kami sumulat kay Secretary pertaining the same, actually complaining. In fact, ang problema po, I think she's being misled by her own people. Ang sabi niya po sa national media one time that all these monitoring stations need is calibration. Nagpapaandar po sila ng mga makina na hindi po na-calibrate ni minsan. Nung in-install po dito, nagkakahalaga po yan ng halos ₱1 bilyon na. Ang nangyayari po dito, pinagtataguan lang nila, pinagtatakip-takip nila kung ano yung dapat nilang takpan. In the meantime, hingi sila ng budget for air quality monitoring. And yet not a single monitoring station is working. Ang demand po nga po namin ay, sana po buksan man lamang ang isang monitoring station at sila mismo, sana makita po mismo ni Secretary, at sila mismo magsasalita po yung monitoring station, hey, I have never been calibrated from the time I was installed. Ang sinasabi po ng supplier, yung electrobyte, ay yan ho'y na-calibrate during the manufacture of this equipment. True, there must be calibration before during the manufacture. Pero nung dumating po sa Pilipinas, binili ho yan ng daang-daang milyong piso ang halaga. At bibili pa, may nakapila pa ho ng mga ₱250 billion na para bibilin pa ng monitoring stations. Walang pinapaliwanag. No market study was even provided just to buy these equipment. Where are the market study? Where are the results of these studies? Have they ever even shown to the public or even published, ni-record nila na merong totoong lumabas na datos ng air quality? Kaya po medyo nakakasama ng loob kasi nakikita lang ho namin dito is I'm sure this is not Department of Mining. This is Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Nauna pa nga ho yung environment eh. So doon ho ang medyo sumasama ho loob namin. Parang walang attention po dito ho sa air quality monitoring. Nandoon lang ho yung mga corrupt people within her department. Nakikita naman po, at alam mo, ang alam ko po rito, si Yusek Valdez ay meron ho siyang isang investigative team. May findings na ho at naguhumindig na yung findings. And yet, these people cannot be fired because you have to follow due process. What is due process? If I shoot someone, namatay yung binaril ko, hindi pa ako hulihin ng police. Ito, sinasabi na ng makina, mali ang nilalabas. naghihirap ng taong bayan. Wala silang tinatanggap na tamang data. And yet, mag-a-appear pa sila during budget deliberation. Hihingi pa ho kami ng bagong monitoring stations na hindi gumagana pa yung mga nabili na nila in the past, hindi pa gumagana. Tapos, bibili pa ng panibago. Okay. Actually, si Ma'am Gina po, is a clean air warrior. He was part of the Coalition for Clean Air Advocates before she became secretary. And natuwa nga ho kami at sabi nga namin, meron ho kami representative sa loob ng DENR. Kaso po ang nangyari ay nung ito ho na ireklamo namin, not the single one of the letters I've been sending, nag-reply po at sabihin sa amin, ano po ba ang resulta ng kanilang investigasyon?
May I interrupt you?
Yes, sir.
Before you continue,
Yes, sir.
I would like to recognize the presence of Senator Cayetano. Go ahead, please continue.
Salamat po, Your Chair. So, ang ano lang po namin dito ay ipakita lang po na meron damdamin naman po sa may environment. Nandiyan po yung mga korap sa loob po ng DENR. Kaya lang po, ang si Secretary, ang nangyari, siguro she must have fed the wrong information. She said, all these equipment need to have is calibration. That's precisely the point. They're not calibrated, so they're not working well. Magdududa kayo sa data na ipoproduce nila. So ngayon, nandoon po yung sinasabi namin na may kasalanan. Hindi ba napakadali man lang, kahit man lang isang memo. O sige, we will move these people. Itong mga gumagawa ng korupsyon, kasi yung 20 tao na pinabibintangan po namin na gumagawa ng kalokohan doon, i-move lang sila pansamantala. Napakahirap po bang gawin yon? I have seen memos being issued to some people within the agency. I-move lang sila para hindi sila makialam doon sa mga anumang aligasyon na binabato sa kanila. So, yun ho ang sana nga that's the reason why we are opposing her confirmation because of allegation namin na incompetence. She does not know exactly what environment is all about. I'm not sure if the Secretary is aware about the Clean Air Act. Clean Air Act has been around since 1994. But what about air quality monitoring? Clean Air Act is about clean air, knowing exactly what it's all about. All of us must know exactly the data to guide the local government, to guide the MMDA, to guide you in legislation of the kind of laws that must be put in place to prevent or at least man lang to alleviate the people from environment. Yes, sir.
Your point, because there's a lot of
yes, sir. Thank you.
Oppositors here that we want to hear. So, can you wrap up your to the point?
Our point is we say the Secretary is incompetent sa usapin po ng environment. Kinakailangan po dapat pag-aralan niya ng maigi yung kung ano ang dapat gawin doon. In fact, dapat po sana ay makapag-appoint siya ng mga taong nakakaalam. Hindi po yung kunyari EMB director natin isang forester. Hindi ho alam ang environment. Meron ho tayong mga undersecretary for environment, perhaps kinakailangan may konting background man lang. O
just submit your opposition letters here in the committee, and we will hear that and review that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you like to respond that?
Yes, I would. So is this Mr. Galvez?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I want to say for the committee that one of my passions is clean air. I mean, I would go out in the streets and catch smoke belchers, and I went all the way to Malacanang.
Madam Chair, Madam Secretary, I just want to remind
I'll
you
go straight to the point.
that when you respond, just address to the chair, not directly to the oppositors. Thank you,
Madam Chair. Mr. Chairman,
Madam Secretary.
Is it? Sorry. It's not Mr. Chair pala, sorry. It's Honorable Chairman. Okay, it's to the Honorable Chair. I'd like you to know that my passion has and will always be clean air, because you need air to breathe. And cleaning the air is critical, even to our economy. I also want you to know, Mr. Honorable Chair, that when the the question of the equipment came into being, we had a meeting, I had a meeting within 1 week, and they have done investigations, and so I have the results here of all the investigations. It's not just calibration, because the objective where we want to go is, I want to be able to come up with an air report in ABS and even in the other media stations. But this can't happen if the machines don't tell the truth. And I agree with Mr. Galvez that there have been instances where the machines are saying it's not polluted there. I said, what do you mean? Look at the black air, you know, it's really polluted. So the machines do need fixing, and then we have taken steps. I however, want to say, Mr. Galvez, I have been told that you're in the supply business of the equipment, and
No,
that
I'm not,
actually
ma'am.
it's, let me finish,
sorry po.
and that actually that the air quality monitoring equipment, it's the functionality of your equipment that is being investigated. So I truly hope that you're coming here not because of any business interest, because that's what the suspicion is that you have an agenda here, and it might even be a business agenda. So just saying that. But sir, Mr. Chairman, I have all the documents here, and I want to assure the committee that I do want to clean the air. And I also want to inform the committee that to do this, we're working together with Department of Transportation. Sir, because 70% of the air pollution is caused by vehicular emission. It's not like in Australia, or in Australia, if you're caught smoke belching, you lose your license. In Japan, you have to pass through the eye of the needle to get renewed. Here in the Philippines, you just pay the bribe, and then and the cars go on the road. So I'm working together with DOTR, and I don't know if Giorgio.
Thank you, Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Chairman,
Is Giorgio here?
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Soto is recognized.
may I pose a question to the oppositor?
To the oppositors,
Yes, Mr. Galvez.
can we finish for oppositors first, and then we will proceed to...
Well, it's hard to get back to him.
okay.
I hope we can, just one question.
just
Mr. Chairman.
go ahead.
I'd like to find out from Mr. Galvez, Mr. Chairman, if the Department Secretary Lopez, and her office will directly address these concerns, will he still oppose Secretary Lopez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Reason for opposing again is the issue of incompetence, like the people.
Therefore, even if she addresses the concerns, you will still oppose?
At the moment, sir, yes, sir.
All right, thank you. At least alam namin saan ka galing.
Thank you. Yes, Senator Drilon is recognized.
Mr. Galvez?
Yes, sir.
Secretary Lopez has asserted that you are a supplier of these machines, and she is investigating the efficiency of the machines. Is that true, that you're the supplier of the machine?
Mr. Chair, no, I'm not.
What?
You are connected to other suppliers.
If I say...
You're in the supply.
Madam Chair,
sorry, I'm
Madam
sorry.
Secretary, just, you're making me confused. So I just to remind you that wait of my recognition,
I
and then
apologize.
you can talk.
Yes,
and
yes, I apologize.
go ahead, Senator Drilon, to ask your
Yes, I was just concerned about this because this is very crucial to the credibility of the oppositor. If indeed as asserted that you supplied or you are connected with the suppliers of these machines, and these machines, according to the Secretary, or other machines are being calibrated because they are not up to par, then you know something is amiss in your opposition. Is that? Can you comment?
May I reply, Mr. Chair? Okay, Mr. Chair, I am not a supplier of any monitoring equipment. In fact, I am a provider of free service to government in terms of publishing to the public the real quality of air quality monitoring. Okay, I have done this in the past, like informing the public for free. All I need to do is I need to get the right data. The reason I have not pursued my business in ensuring that
where did you get that data? Do you have data for that?
Sir,
Do you have data?
I have read the EMB NCR report pertaining to the non-functioning of most of these equipment, or all of these equipment for that matter. And ang demand ko lang po naman dito para makapag-provide po ako ng libreng serbisyo, ay makuha ko ang tamang data. Hindi ko alam kung saan po nakuhan po ni Madam Secretary ang impormasyon na ako po ay supplier at konektado po ako sa isang supplier.
Madam Secretary, when were these machines acquired by your department?
Can I answer?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah, before my time. I mean, the machines were bought. I mean, I've only been in DNR for the past 8 months, so it seems strange that I will be accused of doing something which was not even within my time. I was not involved in the purchase of the machines at all. And when I was told that maybe these machines were overpriced, the machines are important to me. I have been told the result of the investigations will be released, and we already have preliminary, so we have taken action.
You mentioned that this Mr. Banson, Galvez, was a supplier or connected to a supplier. Did you mention that?
Yes, he does. Your business is for air reporting, no? I
I'm
think you're
in the business of air quality monitoring billboards.
Yeah, that's his business.
Mr. Chair, sorry po.
It's air quality monitoring business. So the the capability of that is being addressed. In fact, we may not even. Is there are EMB persons here?
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Chairman, just to follow up on the...
Yes, Senator Kiko Pangilan is recognized.
Just to follow
Mr.
up
Chair.
on that, before we...
Yeah.
I have the floor.
Yes,
Thank you.
go ahead.
No, this is a follow-up question on the oppositor, Mr. Galvez. So you may not be a supplier, but you have a business interest in materials or equipment that would announce the air quality. Tama po ba yan? And you were saying earlier, the reason why you did not go into business, or at least hindi mo inumpisahan, is because precisely of the problem of the equipment or the air monitoring equipment. Is that right?
Mr. Chair, if I may say so, sir, I have an existing contract with the Environmental Management Bureau, NCR, wherein the former Yusek Yones, who was EMB director at the time, signed the contract, that I will be required or allowed to publish to the public the results of air quality monitoring. Now, if I may say so, Mr. Chair, there was actually we're using an existing supplier of monitoring equipment. Sila po yung nag-supply ng hindi gumagana, and yet wala pong ginagawa ang DENR tungkol dito. Kaya po yun ang nirereklamo namin. In fact, I even made a declaration po.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
no, so you are not a supplier of the monitoring equipment,
Yes, sir.
but you are a potential supplier of the equipment that would announce the results, or the billboards that would be announcing the results of the quality of the air.
I will...
In other words, yung mga billboard.
Opo.
So yun ang negosyo mo.
Yes,
Na dahil hindi nagagawa yung air monitoring, hindi rin nagagawa yung negosyo mo. Tama ba yun?
Opo, kasi...
Okay, that's all.
Sir, Mr. Chair, can I add something to that?
I just want to remind everyone, the members, the oppositors, the appointee, that we have so many oppositors here that we want to hear. So can we shorten our opposition and explain also our explanation, and so the members can ask all of them?
Honorable Chair, can I add
Okay,
one thing here?
just go ahead.
Okay. The oppositor is in the ad board who wants to use the data with the ads. So what he does is he will sell the ads. That's his business. He'll give it for free, but he will sell the ads. So there's a question of why is he
Mr. Chairman, can we proceed to the next oppositor?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Galvez. Mr. Secretary, can you call the next
you, sir.
oppositors?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May we call on Dr. Carlo Arcilia of the Asia Oceania Geological Society.
Good morning,
Go ahead.
members of the Commission on Appointments. I am Dr. Arcilia. I am also professor at the National Institute of Geological Sciences. And my opposition is already in front of you. The summary is basically the opposition is conflict of interest. I was a chief scientist appointed by the Makati to take care of the FPIC pipeline leak in 2010. That leaked 3 million liters into the groundwater of Bangkal, the most populated barangay of Makati. And that resulted in the evacuation of 100 families from West Tower, many of whom haven't come back yet. And I was the one responsible with my team of finding out that it was the pipeline owned by the Lopez family, the first Philippine Industrial Corporation, responsible for the leak. That case also gave rise to the first writ of kalikasan case that was presented to the Supreme Court. And it is the first writ of kalikasan that has been adjudicated by the Supreme Court, and the judgment says here that Respondent FPIC is directed to undertake and continue the remediation, rehabilitation, and restoration of the affected Barangay Bangkal environment until full restoration of the affected area to the condition prior to the leakage. For this purpose, Respondent FPIC must strictly comply with the measures, directives, and permits issued by the DNR for its remediation activities in Barangay Bangkal, including but not limited to the wastewater discharge. The DNR has the authority to oversee and supervise the aforesaid activities on the said affected barangay. FPIC has actually done remediation. They have done a pretty good job. And now, my opposition to Secretary Lopez is that it's not because she's part of the Lopez family, but she's now the DNR secretary charged to look at this very, very serious environmental disaster. I call it disaster. The secretary has said that water is life. She said that, she wants no suffering. I have seen the 100 families, but I haven't seen the secretary visit Makati. She has been to all over the Philippines closing mines, but, Bangkal is just a short distance away. And they have told me they haven't even met her after she's been appointed as a secretary. So this is one of the issues here. Why be selective in closing this issue when in fact the DNR is actually mandated to take care of this issue? That's the first. And the second one came up from the presentation of Secretary Lopez herself, because she mentioned that open pit mining in watershed areas should not be allowed. It so happens that there is an open pit company that's mining aggregates in a watershed in Lobo, in exactly the place where the below it is the biodiversity capital of the world. That is called the first Balfour aggregate company. It's owned by the Lopezes. It's mining open pit style in a watershed. But then the mine that's behind it, or a little below it, MRL, was closed because it's in a watershed. They are all on a watershed. And with due respect, Secretary, your definition of watershed is not entirely accurate. I can say that as a professor, even the definition of a water table. The water table is beneath it. And then also another point of contention, mining occurs only in 2% of the country. 2%. So what is the big deal? Of course, we have to look at the pollution of the 2%. But the really big problem, and I agree with that this is the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, it's not just mining. And I will be the first one, beside Secretary Lopez, to close erring mines, because there are erring mines. I'm not against environment, and this is one of the, I do not teach my students to rape the environment. We teach them to protect the environment. So basically, I rest my opposition on those two clear cases of conflict of interest, which have personal knowledge.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you like to respond on that?
Yes, Honorable Chairman, I would like to respond. First of all, the Balfour incident was addressed long before I became DNR Secretary. And it's, I mean, the Balfour, the one in Makati, the Bangkal, sorry. The Bangkal incident has I should talk to you. The Bangkal incident has been addressed long before I became DNR Secretary. It's finished, no? My family spent $1.5 million, and the oppositor himself agrees it was a job well done. So it's finished, you know. I have so many things to do, so I can't check everything. Number two, if my family has been found remiss in the environment, they will be asked to comply, and they're fully aware of that. There's no sacred cow here. I have agreed to the President to serve my country and to serve the people. And I will do it in the most sincere way that I can, abiding by the highest principles. Which means that if any member of my family or any institution violates environmental laws, they will be meted and be treated just like everybody else. That's the right thing to do, and they're fully aware of that stand, and they support it. Number three, I question this thing of open pit mining in... Okay, I have a question here. Is that, sir, you are also, I was also told that Mr. Arcilla is a consultant for Mark Ventures and DMCI and Century Peak. So I've seen him in a lot of mining seminars. And so he just wants me to visit Bangkal. And how about his areas there? No? Anyway, so I don't think there's open pit. Is there open pit? I'm not in favor of any open pit in watersheds, and that decision is solid and non-negotiable. What else can I say? You can't open pit mine in watersheds.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Yes, the oppositor is recognized. The oppositor is recognized.
All right. I'd like to answer the situation in Bangkal is not yet finished. There's still a lot of pollution on the water. That's the reason, and Makati has not issued a certification for the people to return there. In fact, if there are people staying in West Tower, they're doing it because they have nowhere else to go. I mean, I say this because I was the one moderating. I was actually checking the work of FPIC. And I agree that FPIC has done a good, but here, we're not talking, Madam Secretary, of the Lopez family. We're talking of your position as Secretary of the DNR, which has been mandated by the Supreme Court to actually be on top of this. And I am the amicus curiae of the Supreme Court on this matter. It's not finished yet. So that's one case. And second, first Balfour is doing open pit mining. I am not against open pit mining. If we stop open pit mining, according to the Secretary's definition, we will stop all quarries. If we stop all quarries, all construction in this country will stop. There is no quarry that is not an open pit mine. So this is what I'm saying. I mean, with all due respect, Madam Secretary, I'm not saying competency. Your definitions are simply wrong. And I say this as a professor. If you say, okay, stop open mining in watersheds, you stop Holcim, Lafarge, you stop Balfour, absolutely all of the quarries. Be consistent. And if that's the case, will the country allow no construction? Because where will we get the buhangin, the cemento, the graba? So this is one of the problems where when we have such simplistic, policies, no, and even Thank you very much.
Thank you. Senator Alan Peter Cayetano is recognized.
Gandang tanghali po, Madam Secretary. Hindi po ako oppositor, katabi ko lang po yung oppositor. Just one manifestation and then one clarification. The manifestation, I think it is very good that we are all being honest here, and if there are any conflict of interest, it is being discussed openly, no? But may I also clarify that being in the business, being a consultant, is also a plus for the oppositor or for the secretary, because if we're going to disqualify everyone here who is either in the business or has anything to know about mining, we will have witnesses who do not have conflict of interest but who do not know anything about geology, mining, etc. No? So I welcome it, Madam Secretary, when we say, no, you're in this and that, etc. But for the public at lahat nandito, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're incompetent or they should not testify, because precisely that's their expertise. May clarification lang, ma'am. What about the Lobok allegation? So is there such a company? Is it really a watershed, and is it really operating and it was not included in those closures? That's my question, madam.
Mr. Chairman, Honorable Chairman, can I answer?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Balfour has no MPSA. It has no MPSA. Can you give? It has no MPSA. It has no MPSA.
So, Mr. Chair.
It's not operational, and it has no MPSA.
So, Mr. Chair, may we clarify what's the status? So there is a company there, and it is on a watershed, except that it is not operational and there's no MPSA. Is that correct? I just want to know the status so that I can compare it with the statement of the oppositor.
Yes, please, Madam Secretary, can you answer that
I'm sorry.
question?
Yes, Balfour has not commenced. They were not given. Sweetheart, can you? They were not given permits by DNR. And then
the site was cleared because there was a construction permit sometime mid last year, but no activity for the past.
There's no activity for the past 5 months. Whatever, I give my commitment to the honorable body. I'm non-negotiable on this stand. There should not be any extractive activity within watersheds. I have been told that there's no MPSA, and if there has been and it slipped, I will immediately do show cause for that also. There's no sacred cow here. There should be no extractive or anything putting at risk the ecology in watershed areas, which puts at risk our water supply. That's my commitment.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
May I just... I just like to be
Senator Alan Peter Cayetano is recognized.
Madam Secretary, Mr. Chair, I just like to be fully clarified on that, because the no sacred cows is a general statement.
Sorry.
Yes, and I agree with you. And so far, no, absent the statement of the oppositor, so far you've shown that, diba, with the number of closure orders, audit, etc. But precisely what the oppositor is now saying is that there is one sacred cow, which is in Lobok. So you said that it has not been operating the last 5 months. So does that mean that it was operating, and then is construction proceeding there? Or meaning, Mr. Chair, if they are on a watershed and they did not get the same kind of closure order that the others that were in the waiting shed, watershed got, then in fact they are a sacred cow, because somehow DNR, maybe not because of the office of the secretary, maybe people under you, passed over it. So maybe not to prolong, Mr. Chair, unless we're voting today, they can give us a full briefing or the papers. And
no, we're not voting today because...
If we're not, may I be clarified further at a later time or regarding that, and from both sides, no, from the oppositor and from the DNR. But may I just ask that question? Is it true that construction is continuing and is being done as we speak in that is it the power plant?
I was just given the report. There's no construction. There's site preparation. There's no permit. and they're just keeping the place clean. And IPAT, there's no MPSA? There's no, USEC, IPAT, they couldn't do anything because there are no permits. USEC, IPAT is my esteemed USEC for legal.
Is under MRL, not Balfour, the one that's operating.
The MPSA is under, sorry, MRL. There's no relation to Balfour at all. What's MRL?
It's a different company.
Okay, the MPSA is under MRL, which is a different company, but there's no relation to Balfour whatsoever. Sir, I totally agree with you with what you said about... Yeah.
So there's a MPSA?
No, none.
None?
The MPSA is to MRL, which is a different company, but not to Balfour.
Mr. Chair, it's like this.
Go ahead.
It's a question of fact. The fact is, there is a company called First Balfour, and they're mining aggregates in Lobo. That it's even in their website. You can check the website right now. Okay. Second, it's in a watershed because everything is in a watershed. Even this building is in a watershed. What you need to distinguish are what we call proclaimed or critical watershed. So when you say no mining in a watershed, we will kill the economy because there will be no construction. How will we get all of the raw materials? This is what I'm saying. I'm the issue of competence. How can you have a blanket definition of something that you don't understand?
Thank you, Mr. Oppositor.
Sir, I never said that we shouldn't quarry, no? I do accept that my definition of open pit mine is the use of explosives, where you do an open pit and you hit a water table, and the aquifer that should go to the people goes in fact to an open pit. Clearly we need quarrying.
Thank you.
I come from a business family, no? You need to quarry, but we should just not do it within a watershed because you will affect the lives of millions of people.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And may we call now...
Just a last point, Mr. Chair. Madam Secretary, I was telling Senator Recto, I feel your passion, when you were speaking and everything. And, this is all about a balance. But I just heard you say that that's not your definition of open pit mining. And I will have a problem with that because there is an internationally accepted scientific definition for open pit mining. And everyone knows that, for example, cement. When you get cement, that's open pit mining. So if the Secretary and the DNR are now going to say that we're going to have our own definitions different from the definitions of the industry or experts, how will we now, when we go to court or when we go to the committee or they do the appeal, how can we now talk apples to apples, no? So meaning, Mr. Chair, hindi po pwedeng iba definition nila sa open pit mining, iba definition ng industry, iba definition ng CA. Hindi tayo magkakaintindihan. But I was surprised because nga Holcim moved to the city of Taguig. And when I learned about the ban on mining sa Davao, I learned that in the past, no, hindi na pinadagdagan ni Mayor Duterte, but dun sa cement, because doble, triple ang presyo ng semento sa buong Mindanao, kung isasara yung mga cement operations sa Mindanao, but this is open pit mining. Open pit siya, no? So I get what you're trying to say, Madam Secretary, no? You're trying to measure the damage to the environment. But we cannot have different terms and then agree. I think we should all, so is it or is it not? So like quarrying, cement mining, are these all open pit, di ba?
Thank you.
Sir, I will admit I am accessing the consultancy of Leo Gesoreno. He's been 38 years in the industry, and I would presume that his definition of open pit is probably what runs in the industry. So, quarry is surface mining. It's surface. You're getting the surface. An open pit looks like a cone. You do explosives and you want the minerals underground. When you do the surface, surface mining is you take away the trees and then because you need the lime. And what I'm saying is that in a watershed, to do explosives which look like a cone, an open pit is like a cone, and then you hit the water table there. That's not acceptable in a watershed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Senator Ping Lacson
I
is
have a
recognized.
question, Mr. Chairman. We've been talking of MPSA, but to us, we who are not involved in the mining business, we do not know what MPSA means. It's mining mineral production sharing agreement, but
Yes.
why or how do you approve or disapprove such? Is that a permit?
It's a permit, sir.
Pardon the naivete, no? But,
That's okay, because I'm also...
Yeah, please educate us, ano?
Yeah.
Kasi hindi namin alam kung paano nakukuha, anong requirements,
Yes.
and why would you approve or disapprove an MPSA?
An MPSA is a mineral product sharing agreement, and it's an agreement with the state, with the country that they can mine the area. So they do exploration, and then when they see that there are mineral deposits and it's good business to mine, then the state grants them an MPSA, which is an agreement for them to mine, to get the mineral deposits.
How does one get qualified or disqualified in getting MPSA from DNR?
They apply, and then we investigate on the parameters
What
of
are the requirements, ma'am?
Yes, on the environment being a key facet of that. And I have just recently made a policy in DNR that no MPSA should ever be given in watershed areas because of the effect of the mining on the water supply of our people.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
What are the requirements for applying for an MPSA? What would disqualify you from getting an MPSA, and what would qualify you from getting an MPSA?
Well, they need to. First, I think they should explore, no, to see if it's a good business deal for them, and then if they apply, and then we decide on the parameters on which an MPSA should run. The mining company should run.
I don't think I'm getting the correct response.
There is criteria on which a mine should operate, should it operate. And these criteria are listed in the rules and regulations of MPSAs. When the application to run an MPSA is given,
Madam Secretary, the question is what are the requirements to get MPSA or to...
Mr. Chairman, ang question ko po is also a test of competence. Di ba?
Yes.
Being the DNR Secretary, we would like to find out if the Secretary is competent enough to know and to tell us kung ano ba yung...
What is MPSA and what is the
criteria,
requirements?
Yeah.
can I answer, Mr. Chair?
Okay, go ahead, Madam Secretary.
I'm going to be honest and admit that I'm literature and psychology and philosophy. I'm going to be really honest, but I love the environment.
We understand.
I have 20, 30 years doing development work, so I'm really not a miner. Okay, but I have consultants, and this is what they tell me. Okay, so these are the mandatory requirements for MPSA. For an individual, there has to be a location map sketch plan of the proposed contract. There has to be a 3-year development utilization work program. There has to be proof of technical competence. There has to be proof of financial capability. There has to be a mining project feasibility study. It's long. I mean, this whole book is there. I don't know it by heart, and nor can I claim the arrogance of knowing it by heart. But I have people who I trust, and then they will advise me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, I just want to say...
Thank you. Thank you, yes, Congresswoman... Congressman Sato muna, Sato. Congresswoman Sato is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I mean, nobody can question the passion of the Honorable Secretary when it comes to protecting the environment. But, Madam Chairman, Madam Secretary, the MPSA, is it a license or a permit coming from the government, or is it an agreement or a contract?
Okay, it's a mining contract between the government and the mining company. I'm sorry, you know, I will admit I'm really not a technical person at all, you know. In fact, I find, but that's why I have people who I trust. I mean, it takes, when you want to make a difference, you get different, my skills are different, no? And so you put that, if you will question my technical ability on mining, I'm going to fail dismally because I'm really not a technical person. I just want to do, yeah.
Maybe you can ask help in answering the question. If it is a contract or an agreement, are the basis for canceling or terminating this contract or agreement?
Okay, I can answer that.
Yes.
Okay, so in the Mining Act, as I had said there before, that the mandate of DNR is to maneuver the resources, I mean, not in the exact words, no, is to maneuver the resources of the country such that it doesn't impinge on the quality of life of present and future generations. That's the mandate of DNR.
Madam,
I have the grounds here, sir. And these are the grounds for cancellation.
excuse me, Madam Secretary.
Yes.
The Chair would like to be clarified on your statement that you are not technically prepared.
Yes.
And that the issue now raised by Congresswoman Sato is that as if you issued an order based on the cancellation order based on the recommendation of your staff?
No, I issued an order, a show cause, for 75 MPSAs because they are in watersheds. And, you know, they're not all proclaimed watersheds, I will agree, but a watershed is a watershed is a watershed. And a law does not make a watershed. You know, I mean, a watershed is a watershed because it functions as a watershed and it supports life. And to do any kind of extractive industry near rivers and streams will affect human life there.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Senator
Soto.
If I hear another outburst from the gallery, I will have them removed by the Sergeant at Arms. I will move that everybody be removed from the hall.
Everybody is reminded to please refrain from reacting for any
Mr. Chairman, the reaction from the
yes.
galleries, particularly from the same area, and I think it's aimed to belittle or distract the nominee.
Yes, we are now warning them, no? So there be any reaction again, then we will advise the Secretary General to escort them outside. Please, Congresswoman Sato, continue.
Yes. So what are the grounds for the cancellation of MPSA?
The grounds for, can I answer?
Please proceed.
Okay. So the grounds for canceling an MPSA are the non-filling of requirements, the violation of the terms and conditions of permits of agreement, the non-payment of taxes, the suspension or cancellation of tax incentives, the falsehood or omission of facts.
But there is a formal proceedings before an MPSA is cancelled. So as, you know, to prove that all these violations were committed. Is that correct?
Yes, and I have followed that. So actually the MPSAs are not yet cancelled because the procedure is that you give show cause, and then based on that show cause, they can then appeal to the President, and then only when the President makes a decision is it final and executory. But I have started it, and the basis of the cancellation is what's written in the Mining Act, in that it is the duty of DNR to maneuver the resources of this country such that it doesn't affect the quality of life of our people. That's the backing I have from the law.
Mr. Chairman, Do I understand that these 75 MPSAs are not yet canceled? So what is the status of these 75 MPSAs?
I gave a show cause, ma'am. So you give a show cause, and then if they don't give an appeal, then it's canceled, right? But then if they appeal, show cause, then they will comment, and then it's fine. Okay, so we give show cause, and then they have to answer, because we'll say this is the reason why we're canceling the MPSA, and then they will comment on that, and then based on their comment, then the decision is made. And then they can appeal to the President. And then even after I decide, they can appeal to the President. When the President decides, then it's final and executory.
So there is no formal hearing?
No, it's not necessary to have a formal hearing.
Okay. Ma'am, I would just also want to be educated because we're talking about watersheds here.
Yes.
What is stated in the law? That we cannot mine in any and all watersheds. Does the law state that we cannot mine only in declared watersheds or critical watersheds? So can you please educate me on this?
The law specifically says that there should be no mining in critical watersheds. However, as DNR Secretary, I have the prerogative to make decisions on whether there should be mining in watersheds at all, whether they are proclaimed or not. It is totally within my mandate.
So even if the law specifically states that you cannot mine only in proclaimed and critical watersheds, the Secretary of Environment and Natural Resources can motu proprio decide and cancel mining operations in all watersheds?
In all watersheds, yes, that's correct.
So aren't we violating the law here?
No, because I can. I mean, it's totally within my mandate. It's written in the Mining Act to take care of the country's resources such that it doesn't adversely affect human life. I'm totally within my mandate. It's my duty and obligation to make sure that the resources of this country are not utilized in a way that benefits our communities.
Ma'am, as I've said, I admire your passion to protect the environment, and I share that passion.
Yes.
My concern is the law. I mean, being lawmakers here, we would want to know
I understand.
the definition of a critical and proclaimed watershed. Because if there is something lacking in the law, then we should file a bill or a law, pass a law to declare all watersheds as that no mining activities can be conducted in all watersheds, because I believe that we have to follow what is stated in the law.
Can I answer? Okay, within my mandate as DNR Secretary, it is in my mandate to institute certain policies.
Congressman, with your permission, just one question, Madam Secretary. Obviously there is a standard. You cannot mine in critical and proclaimed watersheds.
Yes.
That is the standard imposed by law.
Yes.
Now, is there a definition of what is critical? Or is that left to your discretion?
The President proclaims. Okay, the law does not say, again, can I repeat that? The law does not say that only, it's a bit of a gray area here, but the law does not say that only critical areas are no-go. It doesn't say that.
What does it say, ma'am?
It says that we should not mine, can you move me? It says that critical watersheds are no-go areas. But it doesn't stop the DNR Secretary from saying that making a policy that if it's a watershed and human life depends on it and there are communities that depend on it, there should be no mining
That's
there.
where maybe you cannot get an agreement from many legislators because the law says critical. And therefore, that is the standard imposed on the Secretary and on the DNR, that the watershed must be critical in order that mining will be prohibited. We cannot just say that, we have the mandate to ban everything. That is where probably you should make a fine distinction and the definition of your power to cancel MPSA.
Sir, I would read to you the law.
Mr. Chairman, related to the question of Senator Drilon and Congresswoman Sato.
Before I recognize Senator Lacson, before you proceed, I just to remind everyone, the members, the oppositors, the appointee, that before you speak, please ask permission to the chair to be recognized. Thank you.
My question is, and I would like to address this to the Secretary, who makes the proclamation that a watershed is critical? Is it the President? Must there be a presidential proclamation that such a watershed is critical?
Yes, there was an executive order proclaiming
on a case-to-case basis?
There was an executive order proclaiming 143 critical watersheds, and these areas are clearly no-go zones. I just want to read to the esteemed body the Mining Act again, if I may, sir, if I may, of 1995. That this is a policy, this is the Act of we will enhance national growth in a way that effectively safeguards the environment and protects the rights of the affected community. It's in the Mining Act. And then in Section 8, it says the department, DNR, shall be the primary government agency responsible, and I can underline that, responsible for the conservation, management, development, and proper, and I want to underline again, proper use of the state's mineral resources, including those in watersheds, reservations, and lands of the public domain. Then after that, the Mining Act goes on to say, DNR shall adhere to the principle of sustainable development, which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs, with the view of improving the total quality of life both now and in the future.
Excuse me, Madam Secretary, before you continue, I would like to recognize the presence of Senator Ligarda.
Mr. Chair, can we address?
Yes, Drilon is recognized.
Yes, due to the lateness of the hour, and I don't think we'll go, we can achieve anything more. There are a lot of oppositors. I don't think we can decide on the confirmation of the Secretary now. The hour is late. We are supposed to have our plenary at 1 p.m. I therefore move that we suspend the hearings for tomorrow if necessary, or Monday if necessary.
Yes, we will suspend today and we will continue tomorrow, because
that was the pressure of the committee.
to be fair to everyone, both side, we want to hear the oppositors, not all the oppositors. To be fair.
Tomorrow is Thursday. So do we have a hearing tomorrow? Or can we suspend until Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
She's leaving on March 10 to for the U.S.
Sir, I have a trip that's been planned like 6 months ago already, because originally the Commission on Appointments hearing was supposed to be March 1. And then, as everything is so unpredictable, that was moved. But I've already planned this trip. It will be very difficult for me to shift it. So if I...
There's, tomorrow there's a... 1 minute recess, 1 minute recess. 1 minute.
Mr. Chairman, baka bukas kasi mag-uwi sa mga minahan nila yung mga congressmen.
Sir, Mr. Chairman, can I say something?
Di ba, sarado naman, Senator Ping, sarado naman.
Sir,
suspended tayo, so...
can I say something, sir?
Suspended ang meeting.
May blue ribbon bukas ang Senate eh. May blue ribbon nga ang Senate bukas. Eh di bypass. Next week, pwede naman eh.
Yeah. Are we suspended? But I can use the mic. I'd like to put this on record.
Okay, we are suspended. You can use your mic and to discuss this.
Sige. Okay. No, okay, we're suspended, but fine. In 1998, when I was chairman of the Environment Committee in the Commission on Appointments with then Secretary Ceriles, we had more than 30 oppositors. And some of them I batched together, similar oppositions on certain issues. So I heard them. So I don't know, it's really up to the discretion of the chairman how to do it. But after 1 or 2 hearings, I think, then I was eventually able to sponsor his confirmation. And despite, at the time, what was considered an uphill battle and a controversial appointment of then President Estrada, I, who was in the minority, sponsored the cabinet member. But what I'm saying is that we were able to batch together those similarly situated in terms of the topics of the opposition. Only a suggestion, but I leave it to the discretion of the chairman.
Yes, we can do that, but still there's a lot. I mean, it can't finish. We cannot finish this today, or even tomorrow. It's hard to finish it. Okay lang kasi suspended naman eh. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, suspended naman.
Suspended naman.
21 oppositors. Pangalawa pa lang to. 19 to go. So, kahit bukas, kahit mag-Friday pa tayo, talagang hindi matatapos. If we want to give a fair chance to all oppositors, which we should. Then, pwedeng bukas uli. But if we won't be done tomorrow, then Monday uli, then Tuesday uli. Kung papayag lahat. May blue ribbon pa bukas.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, can we resume?
May I, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chairman, can we resume?
Wait. Nag-suspend nga ako para pag-usapan kung anong...
No, kaya nga.
Kung ano.
Hindi naman tayo magkakasundo. Basta first we have a motion that we suspend. And then set it for hearing either tomorrow, Monday. Just set it for hearing.
Okay, okay.
So, can we resume, Mr. Chairman?
Okay, session is resumed.
Okay. I have a motion to suspend since the reality is we cannot finish the hearing and it is already late. It's 12:35. We're supposed to have our plenary at 1 p.m. So I move that we suspend the hearings now and resume at either tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday. We can put that to a vote if you cannot decide as to when the next hearing will be. But first, we move to suspend, if that's in order.
There's a motion to suspend the session. If there's any objection,
There's none. Okay, so we suspend.
then the hearing is suspended.
Okay, now we decide now when is the next date for the hearing. Well, the other congressman says Monday, Tuesday.
No, the secretary has she has an appointment on Friday, March 10. Yes, Friday, and
sorry.
What you are?
She's leaving.
Is that
going to the States.
Madam Secretary? You are leaving on Friday. May I suggest that you give the hearings of the CA priority?
Anyway, I'm leaving at night, so you want to meet in the morning?
What about the Monday or Tuesday next week? Because, you know, to require the members of the Senate to be here on a Friday afternoon, it's a little difficult. I mean, being realistic.
To be fair, unfair to the secretary, in-inform tayo ahead of time. Since last month, in-inform tayo of her schedule. So, hindi naman natin pwedeng maano.
Tomorrow.
What you don't want to meet on May 3? Because sir, if we do it on because this is my suggestion, no? This is just a suggestion, and you can decide. Because I'm proposing here a possibility of area development, and which might even get our country out of poverty, and a way to use our agricultural resources to benefit our people. What if, because if we do it on May, from now to May, I'll be able to. Sorry, I can't think of another name for it, but kick ass. No? I'll be able to do something, and I would like to invite the members of the Commission on Appointments, for example, to go to Zambales, and then to see what we can do in Dinagat. So
yes, anyone can interject because this we are suspended.
Yes, question, Mr. Chairman. If you schedule tomorrow, do you think we can vote tomorrow or not? No, so it's just a hearing to hear the oppositors. Then I have no objections on conducting a hearing tomorrow.
We will have no plenary tomorrow. Just we want to hear more oppositors. Para mabawasan lang yung mga oppositors kasi hindi matatapos yan bukas. Marami pang discussion na mangyayari dyan. 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Mr. Chairman, before deciding on the matter.
So the hearing, Mr. Chairman, is suspended
Okay,
until
suspended
9 o'clock
naman.
tomorrow.
Suspended naman yung session. Anybody can interject.
No, we have to resume. We have to resume. We have to resume so that we can.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Senator Rector is recognized.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you for the recognition. There is a request from the Secretary that we continue hearings on May. We have barely a week to go until Congress will be on break. We only have it until the 15th. We may not also finish it by tomorrow anyway. So we will call all the oppositors tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the Secretary will be present as well to respond to the oppositors?
Yes.
Okay.
No, the Secretary is necessary present tomorrow because the question will be raised from the members, respond, react to the oppositors.
And be here the whole day.
All right, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, I move to suspend the hearing of your committee until 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Second.
Any objection? There's any objection for the suspension of the meeting until 9 o'clock tomorrow. Hearing none, then this committee hearing is suspended.